Hello friends. Today I'm kind of excited. As you know, I'm a Paul Rubens huge fan. I have tons of their paints. I've actually been purchasing them for a long time, but they did send me this one, so I was quite excited. I always love when they notice small artists like myself. So let's go ahead and get it opened. I love the design. I think it's really cool. It looks kind of like tropical. And this is their 5th generation. These are artist level, professional level. And this is their YouLan series, which refers to an orchid. 1 second, and I will tell you exactly. Let's see. So anyway, once I open the box, which I always love their boxes, I love their packaging. It's one of the reasons why I really appreciate Paul Rubens, is because I'm all about aesthetics, and all of their palettes, even the small ones, are always wrapped and packaged up so thoughtfully that I just love it. So here it is again. You've got your little soft felt cloth. Excuse me. And just something interesting I noticed, and I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera here, but their little swatch card is kind of sparkly. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I will say it's all in Chinese. So I can't read it. There is an app on your phone that you can use, and you take a picture of it and it will transcribe it for you. But so I thought that was interesting. That's not the norm. And then these little sparkles. I also love, these are just little side notes that I notice, and things that I think is so cool about Paul Rubens, that they think of these little small things. Number one, the sparkles. Number two, it has a little quote down here. It says, "I have been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do." I hadn't noticed that on their other swatch cards, something really little, but I thought worth pointing out because I noticed things like that. And then I went ahead and swatched all of the colors inside, and they are quite vibrant. Love that, love that, love that, love that. The colors are in Chinese, aside from the numbers. So that's, you know, I would prefer them not to be in Chinese so I could know what I'm getting, but that's okay. And one of the things that I will be honest with you, I don't really usually pay that much attention to. There are 24 half pans. And I know a lot of people ask me this question, and a lot of people, this is important. So I thought it was worth mentioning. There's 18 single pigment colors, and then 6 multiple colors. So what that means for some people, in case you don't know, is a lot of times people prefer the single pigments. That's not a big issue for me. They feel like they're more intense. They're a little bit more predictable because they are just one pigment. And if you were mixing pigments that are made, the color is made from multiple pigments, and then you mix it with another color that has multiple pigments in it, it could possibly get muddy or a little bit dull. So, you know, again, for me, not important, but I am a little bit impressed that 18 of their 24 are single pigments, and there's only 6 that are multiple. So I kind of like that. The other thing that I noticed is when I was swatching these out, they're both transparent and really vibrant. I noticed, if you like the granulation, the blue and the greens had a lot of granulation in them. Actually, this I would call this yellow sienna. That had a lot as well. So just a couple things. And it's interesting because the swatch cardstock has a little sparkle to it. Because these colors have transparency to them, even though they're quite vibrant, I can see the sparkles showing through. So I think that's kind of cool because, you know, just like I mentioned, multiple single pigments, for me, the vibrancy and also ability to be transparent and glossy, I think is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and open this up. I already played with them, by the way, so I'm just going to close this box up. By the way, you can get this in a black box with gold design on them. I went for the pink because I'm a pink kind of gal, but the black was pretty cool. It looked really elegant. So that was the other choice. And they're both going to be the 24 half palettes. So let's see, let's open it up. As you can see here, I already played with it and swatched them out because I love swatching. And I tried to, although I didn't do it as much in here, but I typically try to start with the most saturated value, meaning almost full pigment, and then add water and see how light I can get it, because that's something that's really important for me. I didn't actually do that on here, and we could actually do that if you'd like to see it. For me, it's kind of important. So let's just follow, kind of add next to the lighter version here. And I'm going to go into each of these with almost full pigment, so you'll see. And look at all the yellows they have. I thought it was also interesting that they had a yellow ochre, because this one is almost like, to me, reminds me of the yellow ochre. So there was almost like two of those. I do like their colors. I wish there was a Van Dyke brown in here, a real dark brown. As you can see, I mixed one. I just added in some of the black, darker color. So, you know, not a big deal. And then I'm going to, so here is the more transparent. And then here is full value. So you can see its range of color here. Then let's go into, I also thought it was interesting, you get two yellows. So this to me reminds me, oh, I'm getting a little, I got a little green in there. Reminds me of like a lemon yellow. And they almost look the same on the swatch card. So there's that one. Let's see. This one looks like it might be just a tad warmer yellow. And let me tell you, I am going directly into these so I can get that darker color with water into a dry pan. I don't usually paint that way, but I wanted to get a really vibrant color here so you could see them. So there you go, that's that one. And then let's go into this beautiful orange. I do like this orange they've got here. It's really, really a beautiful, beautiful orange. I'd say it kind of reminds me of like a cad orange. And then we'll go into this one, which is a little bit warmer orange. And very pretty as well. Hopefully you're seeing these. So this is full value. This is the lighter end. And that's just, you know, when you swatch, you may be swatching for different things. Let me wipe that up. I just spilled a little water on there. The reds are really beautiful too. I'm really liking the reds, but I always like Paul Rubens reds. I think they have beautiful reds and greens. I do wish that they had that darker brown though. So here is this red, which kind of reminds me of an alizarin crimson a little bit. It's kind of that orangey, earthy red. Now we get into those beautiful pinky reds, which, as you know, I love. This one here reminds me of like a Merlot. So I think that one's really pretty. Let's go into the next one here, and I apologize, I've got a little bit of another color in there, but that's pretty true to the color. So these two feel to me very close. Let's see what this one is. This is probably their pinker. And then I just want to swatch that out a bit because I didn't get too light over here. Ooh, so see that? That's that color you know I love. That's a very pinky color. Look at how beautiful. I think Paul Rubens, number one, I love their colors. I love this palette, but they do so well with their blues and their pinks. Oh my gosh, they're just yummy. And then here is their purple, which I've already got a dark version of that purple. So let's just pull it out a little bit and you can see what it looks like. Very, very pretty. It's like a violet. And this, because these are written in Chinese and I haven't translated them yet, I'm going to say this is probably Payne's Prussian blue, sorry. Or maybe like a, yeah, that's probably either Payne's gray or Prussian blue. It's got a lot of blue in it. Beautiful. And then maybe this being their version of, oops, sorry about that. I just hit my head. Their ultramarine blue, beautiful. They just have the creamiest colors. As you know, I also use that YouLan palette, and I even love that palette. They just do so well with their colors. There you go. That's beautiful. Going on to the next one. Beautiful. And then here's when it's a lighter value. And this reminds me of that turkey blue. Remember our whole conversation about that? Now look at how beautiful this color is. Really, really pretty. Oops, I skipped one. Gosh darn it. This reminds me of, let me see if I can pick that up. Usually those greens and blues are a little more staining. Kind of like an emerald green. Let me go back and get that other color. And I want to pull, yeah, this reminds me of that beautiful turquoise that I've come to know Paul Ruben for. It's so, so pretty. And my favorite green, I believe this is their yellow green. I used to always use sap greens, and now I really am finding myself drawn to that tree green. I think it's really, really pretty. And then here's the lighter version. Beautiful. This palette really does cover the spectrum of all the colors, doesn't it? And this could almost be like a hooker's green, or maybe that's their hooker's green. These are, so this one is a single pigment. So is this one, this one, this one. So they have got an awful lot of single pigments in here, if that's your thing. And I get the thought behind that, because if you've got 2-3 pigment colors, when you mix them together with another color, they could get kind of wonky and muddy because you're not sure what all colors are in that. This reminds me of their kind of their sienna. So beautiful. And we've got a couple more here. This is almost like a brick red. Don't remember this color so much in their other palettes. I really like it. I could see myself using this palette. You have to think about too, when you buy a palette, you know, look at the colors they're giving you. Like for me, I may not use both these yellows. This is more lemon yellow. This is a little bit warmer. So take a look at the colors in the palettes, and I actually really like this one. They've got a lot of beautiful colors. So that's probably like their coal black. And you could even go gray there. Very pretty. And the last one here. And then let's try and paint like a little flower. Oop, let me get a little bit more. There we go. So this one is a little bit like brownish, almost has a little bit of brown. And this one is a bit more of a flat black. So this one here almost has some green or some blue in it, or brown. And there you go. Look at all these gorgeous, beautiful colors and all these single pigment colors. Almost all of them on this side are all single pigment, quite a few here. So that is a plus if that's your thing. Let's see what we can paint here. Of course, you know me, I love my flowers, so I'm going to go ahead and just paint a little flower, and I'm going to use, let's see, let's maybe use some of those blues. I'm going to go in with that kind of that turkey blue, and we're just going to do something really simple here, guys, just to get a feel for all these beautiful colors. Ooh, look at these two colors together. Aren't those lovely? Love them, love them. Maybe play a little bit just to see how they do mixing. Of course, I already know they're going to be beautiful because I love Paul Rubens. And you know, I used Winsor Newton for years, but I mean, just look at those two colors together, how gorgeous those are. Let's go into a little bit of that other green. So I'm using this green quite a bit more of an opaque fashion. Could almost be like a there, but there, look at how opaque it can go. And then at the same time, it can go very transparent. And those are some of the things I look for in my paints. I like them to have both those abilities. And then let's go over here with some of those yellows. And, ooh, that is a bright, wowee. That is a really bright yellow. Let's go into the one next to it. That is a little bit, those are both really bright. We'll go into the orange. Very pretty. Love it. And I'm going to use that darker green. Just using the tip of my brush, and look at that beautiful bleed and blend. Wow. Really pretty. Paul Rubens, you did fantastic with these. I'm loving them already. Let's go into, let's see, let's do some orange, a little darker orange, going more into like a cad orange. Get that a little bit more transparent. There we go. Then maybe some of that red. very, very pretty colors. We're just playing here. Let's go into some pinks. This is what I really love when I receive a new palette. I love going through and seeing how well they do. That I can already tell. I love that color, which I kind of knew. I knew I was going to love that one. Now that is their purple. Look at how deep, dark, and rich that is. Ooh, that is a beautiful purple. And then look at, this is again what I love. Look at the transparency that has. I'm going to go into the next one here. And this is going to be kind of that bluish. There we go. Maybe even add some of that to these. Go in and draw my stem. There we go. And then we'll go into ultramarine blue, or I think that's what, I'll have to Google all these and see the exact colors. But I sure love blending them all. So beautiful. This is really a vibrant palette. Let's go into that brown. Maybe make some more like leaf type shapes. See how we do with that. There we go. Just playing here. These really blend beautifully. And then I don't really feel like I need to use much of that black, but I do want to add in a tiny bit of that fun yellow, which reminded me, I actually really like this color. I thought it was like their version of a yellow ochre, but it's actually vibrant, a little bit more yellowy, so that's pretty. And again, these colors are really, really creamy. Always my fave is to have those creamy colors. So there you go. I think, you know, for around $50 for 24 professional paints, I think these are beautiful, beautiful color palette. Again, that's very individual to you. But what I love is how dark in value, and yet adding water, you can really get those light, transparent colors. So this would be a great professional palette, I think, to use. You got all the colors you could need. You wouldn't have to really mix. I mentioned this a lot because I can be kind of a lazy painter. I don't want to have to be mixing unless I'm really playing with mixing. I love to just have all my colors available. The only one I might mix would be to get that dark brown. I did think it was kind of interesting. There wasn't a white, but I don't use white, so that's not a huge, you know, deal for me. Not a deal breaker at all. And I might notice when I received these, they were all individually wrapped, by the way. I had already unwrapped them. I will include the link to my unwrapping them. Another thing that is nice with these palettes is they have that ring, so you can slip your ring, your finger through, and you can, you know, if you're painting plein air. But the other thing that's great about the Paul Rubens palettes is each pan is locked in. So I think that's, for me, really great because I do travel with my palettes a lot. And in my Lang palette, I had to put little magnets under them because they would fall out. But guys, remember, you're talking about a $15 to $17 palette, and this is their $50 palette. beautiful. So I hope you guys will kind of look into this if you want to upgrade a little from your YouLan palette. These colors are just fantastic, beautiful. I think they've got all the colors you need. You wouldn't really have to deal with mixing unless that's your thing. And so there you go. I hope that was useful for all of you. And thank you again, Paul Rubens, for noticing me, one of the much smaller artists on here, and sending me your beautiful palette to play with. I'm definitely going to be traveling with these. And the light fastness, by the way, was very high on these as well. If that's something you worry about, light fastness being how much they fade. Of course, the light pinks, opera rose, those type of pinks are always ones that fade. So there you go. All right, everybody, and I will talk to you soon. I hope that was helpful. All right, bye-bye.